We heard he jumped the shooter, and that's what we heard. And people were shot and injured, and we had no idea who was shot and injured at the time.
It was a trying few hours for Ren Archer when he heard about the shooting at the church where his father, Othniel, has served for years. The entire family knew this dedicated deacon and grandfather would be at a wedding in the balcony running the sound system.
And I immediately panicked because I know his dad is always at the church.
Ren's wife says Othniel finally reached the family by phone and shared what happened in the moments leading up to the shots that struck the bride and Bishop Stanley Choate, seen here giving us a church tour less than 2 weeks ago.
Inside here, the sanctuary.
When the man who did the shooting went into the church, he had his hood on, and so he kind of piqued his, suspicion of like, who's this guy coming into a wedding wearing a hood? And so he was already kind of keeping an eye on him.
He says right after the vows were exchanged and before the bishop could declare them husband and wife, the man approached.
The gentleman stood up and went towards the altar, and then that's when everything happened. Everybody started to run when they heard the shots and when the shots started, and then he said, I need to get out of here, but then he stopped and said, no, I can't leave, and he went back and tackled the guy.
I think it's the greatest thing ever, like that my dad just, he didn't think about it, he just did it. That's just the kind of guy he is. He helps everybody any time of the day. My dad always jokes that he's played football, he's a linebacker and a quarterback. He always jokes about that. And we're like, yeah, sure, Dad, you're making all that up. And then he tackles somebody, we're like, he might actually be a linebacker.
Well, that linebacker says other wedding guests jumped in and helped hold down the gunman until police could get there, which was pretty quickly. This is a traumatic event for everyone. Church services are canceled tomorrow, and crisis counselors will be right here at Town Hall from noon to 5 for anyone who wants to talk about what happened here today. Live in Pelham, Jean Mackin, WMUR News 9.
Amazing actions this morning there, Jean. Thank you. And tonight, investigators say they're trying to figure out the exact connection between today's shooting and a murder investigation that started earlier this month. On October 1st, investigators were called to a home on Ridgemont Drive in Londonderry, where a man named Luis Garcia was found dead. He worked as a minister at New England Pentecostal Ministries Church. The next day, investigators announced the arrest of 24-year-old Brandon Castiglione. He is charged with second-degree murder and is the son of the groom who was injured in today's shooting. A celebration of life memorial for Garcia was set for noon today at the New England Pentecostal Church, but that service was canceled because of this morning's shooting. Family and friends of Garcia were on their way to celebrate his life when they got word the church was part of a crime scene.
They were trying to tell us not to come, but the family doesn't want to hear that, so we showed up here to show our support. So I don't know. I've only been to New Hampshire, twice? So this is just crazy to come here and someone get shot before service even happens.
I think that we're still in shock. I think that is because we didn't know in reality what is happening inside. We're in shock. We're just here to celebrate Luis' celebration of life.
And we send breaking news alerts throughout the day to users of the WMUR mobile app. Download it for iOS and Android devices for updates on this and other breaking stories. Our on-air coverage continues tonight at 11 and tomorrow morning beginning at 6 a.m. Well, officials in Northampton say the names and the cause of death of 2 people killed in a fire will likely be released tomorrow. Crews were called to this 2-family home on Lovering Road last night. Both the man and boy who died were in the same unit. The other unit was occupied, but none of its residents were hurt. Right now, the fire marshal's office is leading this investigation with other agencies assisting. Clouds and rain lingering out there tonight. You're looking live at conditions across the state right now, and we finally see the sun tomorrow. Eric, does the rest of our holiday weekend improve from here?
It does. Thankfully for the leaf peeping, we should be in great shape as we go through tomorrow and even through Columbus Day too. We'll show you the temperatures right now. Still relatively cool in the 40s and the 50s, and The cool spots will just keep getting cooler as the clouds decrease overnight tonight. There are a few rain showers, very light in nature, starting to scrape parts of Coos County, but that's about it. And I wanted to zoom out the map a little bit to show you there's a huge bowling ball circulation up in the Great Lakes. That is going to touch off a weak disturbance as we go through Monday, which can give us a few more rain showers across parts of the region. So the next 12 hours, temperatures fall into the middle 40s in Concord by first thing tomorrow morning. A lot of sunshine, though, expected for tomorrow afternoon. We'll talk about how long the sun sticks around and who could see some raindrops as we go through Columbus Day afternoon. Sharice.
Eric, thank you. Well, one person has died and 2 workers are still unaccounted for after part of this hotel under construction in New Orleans suddenly collapsed. It happened at the Hard Rock Hotel, which is near the French Quarter section of the city, around 9 this morning. At least 18 construction workers were injured and now reported in stable condition. Officials say the upper floors began to fall on top of each other before one side of that building fell to the ground below. Authorities are urging people to stay away from that area, which is still considered unstable.
Our biggest fear right now is the crane. It's 270 foot, so the reach of that crane, if it were to come down, has a tremendous amount of weight on it that works to support the crane as it stretches out. The cantilever weight, the weight on the of it is tremendous. It weighs several tons.
Now, the cause of this collapse is still under investigation. The grand opening of the Hard Rock Hotel was scheduled for spring of 2020. A Maine building supply company says it will rebuild after this fast-moving fire destroyed its main building. The McCormack Building Supply Facility in Winslow went up in flames yesterday afternoon. The owners and employees say they will work diligently to rebuild. The family-run business was frequented by area contractors for building supplies, paint, and other tools. No injuries were reported. President Trump continues to stand by his personal attorney as he comes under scrutiny. Coming up tonight, the latest development in the impeachment inquiry as 2 of Rudy Giuliani's associates are arrested. Rethinking an upgrade at the TD Garden, the backlash over new seats leaving many feeling too cramped. Let's go now to meteorologist Eric Weglars with your wake-up weather.
All right, Sharice, it gets sunny and a lot sunnier through tomorrow afternoon. Check this out. Temperatures in the middle, even the upper 60s for some. It is comfortable, ideal for leaf peeping too with all the sunshine. Now, the big question, how long does the sun and the warm temperatures stick around? We'll have those details coming up in just a few minutes.
In Commitment 2020 tonight, presidential hopeful Tulsi Gabbard wrapping up her 3-day campaign visit to New Hampshire. Gabbard has talked to voters at town halls, restaurants, and house parties like this one in New Boston. This is her third visit to the state in the last 3 weeks. Well, President Trump's personal attorney says he's not aware he's under investigation for his involvement with the unraveling Ukraine scandal. Rudy Giuliani calling it a political attack, as ABC's Mona Kosar Abdi reports. One day after distancing himself from his lawyer, President Trump is now defending him.
President Trump on his way to the golf course Saturday morning and tweeting his support for his personal lawyer, Rudy Giuliani. Quote, "So now they are after the legendary crime buster and greatest mayor in the history of NYC, Rudy Giuliani." On Friday, the president was not so clear on whether Giuliani still represents him.
Well, I don't know. I haven't spoken to Rudy. I spoke to him yesterday briefly.
Giuliani now at the center of the Ukraine scandal. Two sources familiar with the matter say the business relationship between Rudy Giuliani and the two men charged Thursday in a campaign finance scheme is a subject of an ongoing criminal investigation being conducted by federal authorities in New York. ABC's Kira Phillips getting reaction from Mr. Giuliani.
Giuliani tells me no, that he has no knowledge that he's under investigation.
Giuliani acknowledges the two men were helping him in what he described as an investigation of Trump's 2020 rival Joe Biden and his son's business activities in Ukraine. On Friday, the former ambassador to Ukraine, Maria Yovanovitch, told congressional investigators Giuliani was gunning for her ouster, claiming she was blocking his efforts to dig up dirt on Biden and his son. Democrats praised the former ambassador for her integrity.
I think she has been a model diplomat.
The president once again deriding the impeachment inquiry, using vulgar language at a rally Friday night in Louisiana. The impeachment investigation continues next week with testimony from the president's former Russia advisor Fiona Hill and Trump megadonor and current U.S. ambassador to the European Union, Gordon Sondland. Mona Kosar Abdi, ABC News, Washington.
Well, TD Garden is now rethinking its new seating after the complaints have been piling up. Fans taking to social media sharing photos like these of their knees pressed against the seats in front of them, some in awkward positions. The seats are part of a $100 million overhaul with added padding and a new design. The president of the Garden saying last week the new seats would, quote, take time to get used to, but now the arena is trying to make amends, saying, quote, we are listening to feedback that some of the new seats do not meet expectations. We are evaluating the situation. We will make this right for our guests. Well, it is official. Alexa can now speak Spanish. Amazon says the virtual assistant's second language can now be accessed through its supported Echo and Alexa built-in devices. There's a new Spanish voice for Alexa, and customers can switch to Espanol mode via the Alexa app. From there, a user can ask for their favorite music, news and weather, and controls for their smart home. Well, Americans love to gorge on candy during Halloween, of course, so if you reach for those peanut butter cups, you're definitely not alone. According to a poll from Monmouth University, more than 36% of Americans say Reese's are their favorite treat. It's more than twice the number of people who chose Snickers as their favorite. M&M's ranked third, followed by Hershey bars and candy corn.
Now, your Stormwatch 9 forecast.
A little shocked Milky Way isn't up there. Maybe Three Musketeers. All right, fine, fair. We'll handle it. All right, let's get to the weather here. It's pretty nice tonight. We'll start off with the foliage map. If we switch things around here, you'll notice that the color is relatively good, all things considered. We are at peak foliage for basically the north country of New Hampshire, south and west, and the Monadnocks. There we go, the shades of reds telling us that is at peak. And if you're in the orange, that's near peak. I mean, it's almost totally peak foliage. So that's Laconia, even south through Manchester and Nashua. The color looks pretty nice as of this afternoon. And when we get the sunshine tomorrow, it's going to look even nicer with a lot of bright color in the afternoon. In fact, the last push of clouds are just starting to move from the west to the east here. This is ahead of a weaker cold front. You see a few of these lighter rain showers still lingering across far northern Coos County. We'll zoom in here. Pittsburgh up to the Canadian border. That's the best chance to find a few light sprinkles initially, but we're expecting things to get drier as we go through the overnight hours tonight. And we're already down into the 50s, even the upper 40s. Some fog lingering in Dublin. Dublin. I do think we'll find a few areas of fog first thing tomorrow morning as well. But again, the theme tomorrow, a lot of sunshine, great for leaf peeping, and there are a few stray showers to talk about later on Monday too. A weak disturbance comes through, and that'll be the focal point for a few other raindrops. Not a washout by any means, but you will encounter a few as you head home from Columbus Day festivities. So we'll step this through hour by hour. First thing tomorrow morning, not too bad. A lot of sunshine, a few clouds mixed in, especially by the seacoast. But look what happens in the afternoon. Plenty of sunshine, wall-to-wall sunshine, and the winds are out of the west. So it's that drier, cooler air that really helps get things going for a nicer afternoon on Sunday. Overnight, Sunday into early Monday looks great. I think we'll find clear skies. And then the next push of clouds from the south as this weak disturbance comes through. Futurecast a little overzealous with the amount of shower activity in the afternoon on Monday, but the expectation is for a few scattered raindrops, especially central and northern New Hampshire. Best chance for a few raindrops, but those do clear out pretty quickly as we go through Monday night. So the lows tonight only in the middle 40s. Cool, comfortable, clear skies, not too bad. And for tomorrow, down into the middle and upper 60s. So it is still mild, comfortable though, and near seasonable for most spots too, so we'll take it going forward here in the forecast. So check this out. Sunday again, great, mainly sunny skies, temperatures in the middle 60s. Columbus Day starts off sunny, and then we get some clouds in the afternoon. The showers will arrive thereafter, especially north. We'll hold in the low 60s. Through Tuesday, still mainly sunny Tuesday afternoon, then a pretty powerful system approaches from the south and the west for the middle of the week. That's Wednesday night into Thursday. Right now thinking there could be a decent soaking rain, especially north. And it's also very breezy as well Wednesday night into Thursday. So that'll help knock a lot of the leaves that are just starting to change colors off the trees. So the bottom line here, get the leaf peeping in while you can tomorrow because it looks a little soggy, unsettled, and not the brightest for the second half of next week.
I know, I always sort of dread the rain forecast this time of year because the leaves get knocked down.
You're not going, are you going out tomorrow to maybe snap a few pictures?
I'm going to have to, I think.
That's the only day to go. You have to go.
All right, Eric, thanks so much. Coming up in Sports in 60, the Dartmouth and UNH football teams face some big games today. Both had great results. Jamie Staten is in next.
Bruins won tonight. We'll show you that at 11. But let's do some college football right now and watch out for the Dartmouth Big Green. They are really good. They proved it today on homecoming against undefeated Yale. Let's take you to Memorial Field and show you how it went for these two undefeated teams. 3-0 Yale and 3-0 Dartmouth coming in. And here we go. Already 21-0 Big Green. And then Derek Kyler with a 31-yard touchdown pass to Hunter Hagdorn up the middle. At the half, the Big Green led 28-3. Then on to the second half. More from Dartmouth. Jared Gerbino fires it deep down the far sideline, hauled in by Drew Estrada for a 61-yard touchdown, 35-3 Estrada. And he caught 5 passes for 203 yards and 2 touchdowns. One more touchdown to show you, a 10-yard run by Dakari Falconer. Dartmouth is 4-0 this year. They win it easily. The final score was 42-10. Speaking of big victories, UNH football at number 22, Stony Brook. You can't overestimate how great this is for Dartmouth with their freshman quarterback Max Brosmer, who threw 2 touchdown passes, and they get a monster win on the road. So 4 straight wins for UNH, 4 straight wins for Dartmouth. Both teams looking great. You've got a little blue and a little green, so
I guess
you are
I'm supporting everyone
perfectly
tonight.
dressed for both teams tonight.
I love seeing the local teams do great, making us proud.
Yep.
Sounds good,
All right.
Jamie. Thanks so much. Heading north to take in the colors of the season, you can plan on plenty of company. What leaf peepers are saying about this year's show.